Hey everyone. In this video, I want to talk about product categories and how we're going to use them in our product taxonomy. So, for people that have been using Shopify for a while, you realize that product categories are newer in the Shopify platform. Before categories were around, we used product types a lot, and we would classify the product types and use that to create collections. And then categories started showing up. And categories is actually a internet-wide standard, a list of categories. There's about 10,000 of them. And the thing with the product types is they're just a data element that stands alone. A product category is part of a tree structure. So you can see here right now the category is listed as candy and chocolate, but that's under food items, which is under food, beverages, and tobacco. So there's a hierarchy behind them. So they're a little more structured, which makes them more useful. So here you can pick one category for a product, just like you can have one type for a product. But you also see this purple text here. And when you see purple in the Shopify admin, you can see it says suggested. That's the Shopify AI recommending an improvement to the category that was selected. So you can see here right now, it's currently selected as candy and chocolate in the category. But it's saying, what about chocolate, which is a level below candy and chocolate? There's candy and chocolate. And it says, these are chocolate covered caramels. We recommend that this is a chocolate. Let's classify it that way. And I agree with them. So I'm going to accept their suggestion. And now I'm going to save that suggestion. So we've now changed the category that this product falls in. But to do this, for every product in your catalog, one by one, becomes a lot of work, especially if you have, 10,000 products in your catalog. And that's where we're trying to, in Datify, give you tools so you can do things in mass or in bulk more easily. So here is Datify for that same store. What I did to start off with, when you go to the top of Datify, there's a manage categories section. I'm just going to say create configuration. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a configuration, which is a set of rules, how we want to manage our product taxonomy. So I'm going to show you some examples of things that we do in here. The first one is there are products with no set category, and we're going to add categories to those. And then there's also products that are currently listed as uncategorized, and we're going to validate if they should be in that state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first click on the no set category and open them up in the bulk editor. In the Shopify bulk editor, the product editor, we've got the category showing here as one of the fields, and you can see all the purples. So it's recommending categories for me. Now to accept one of those, I just have to click on it and then click again on the little check to accept the recommendation. Now I could say, no, I want to do something else. And then here it brings me up the whole list. So then you can type any element you want in and see the options that match it from that full list of 10,000 taxonomy elements for categories. Now I'm going to go through the rest of this, but I'm not going to have you watch that. So I'm going to pause the video and then come back when I'm done. All right, I've gone through and updated the product category based on the recommendation and evaluating that recommendation for the 130 or so, 120 products that needed it. So that's step one there, is going through on the not set category. I'm just going to refresh the page to have it update. And now I can see that not set is no longer showing because there's no content for it, because we categorized all of them. Now we're going to do the same thing for the uncategorized. Now some of these may stay uncategorized because there are things that you may be having in your Shopify store that don't map to the standard taxonomy of the 10,000 categories. So in that case, you can leave it as uncategorized or set it to something that is the next closest thing. No right or wrong there, your choice to make. So on this one here, these, I know these here, I'm going to make those gift baskets. because these are holiday bundles. And once again, I'm going to go through and edit them all, and I'll be back when I'm done with that. All right, I've updated those product categories. All right, close that out. Once again, we're going to go and open up the configuration again. Now, the uncategorized should go away over a little bit of time. You can see here we only have one product left as uncategorized, test product, even though it's still showing more of them in there. Now it's updated. Sometimes it takes the servers a few seconds to update things. So now what we want to do is we want to look at, and if we hit this plus button up here, it'll expand all the nodes, or I can expand and contract an individual node. And right now we're only showing nodes in the taxonomy. Remember I said there's like 10,000 nodes. We're only showing them that we have a product category set to from one of our products in this store. If we wanted to, we could show all nodes, and there's a lot more going on there. So very few stores are going to operate in the show all mode. Now here, to explain a couple things that are going on, I'm just going to expand the whole thing. So remember I said there was a tree structure: arts and entertainment, party and celebration, gift giving, greeting and note cards, greeting cards. So this whole tree structure behind it. And over here, we show the count of products that map to that category. And, we're showing arts and entertainment, even though nothing maps to it, because it's a parent of the greeting and note cards that has products mapping to it. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to look at each of the nodes and ask ourselves, what do we want to do with this node? For example, I've got some products under greeting and note cards, and I've got others under the child category of greeting cards. And I'm going to make the decision right now that I'm going to put everything under the greeting and note cards elements. So I'm going to click on this little gear icon for greeting cards. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, I want to force this to roll up to the parent. All right, so in a tree structure, this is the child, and the one above it is the parent. So if I want all greeting cards to be automatically turned into category of greeting and note cards, I'm just going to take this and say, all right, we're going to force this up to the parent, or roll it up to the parent, we call it. And now when I close that, I'm going to save it. So we've saved this configuration, and now I'm going to run the configuration. And the only thing in this configuration right now that's a defined action is this one here. You can see the gear icon is kind of hollow until we set an action to it, and then it's solid. So now we're going to run our configuration, and it tells me, hey, 3 products are going to be rolled up from greeting cards to greeting and note cards. Yes, let's run that configuration. So now that it's run, we're going to refresh again, and it may show the elements rolled up, or it may take us a minute or two for it to show up. So now, there we go. The 31 has changed to 34 because the 3 have rolled up. And then another thing we can do is for greeting and note cards, we say, yeah, this is a valid node in our taxonomy. We can select this and say, keep this category. This is an acceptable category for me. And one of the reasons for that is what you want to see when you're done with this whole process is all these gears turned into solid gears, all the hollow gears. For example, we don't want anything at the top level of the that category of arts and entertainment. So we could say, hey, we're going to want to take action on this. We're just flagging a note to ourselves. If anything comes in and gets assigned the arts and entertainment category, we'll be telling ourselves, hey, we need to look at that. So let's save that. And you can see as we start setting actions, here's the notify or the take action icon. This is the keep the category icon. So you start seeing icons for the different actions. Now let's walk through all of the actions and talk about what each of them is. So this one here says, I don't want to use this category in my store. Now, the interesting thing is once you start looking at the categories that are available, all 10,000 of them, you end up with, the store I'm working in right now is they just sell chocolates and a couple things related to chocolates, but they're a chocolate shop, right? And they end up having some things in the health and beauty category because they have chocolate lip balm, for example, and chocolate soap. So you end up having products pretty spread across the category. Like you might not think you have office supplies, but then you start realizing, oh, I've got packing materials for insulated shipping of chocolates in the summertime. Those show up under office supplies. So really check, and that's why we're showing you the products and allowing you to click on any of the products in a category to see what is falling under that. And you can ask yourself, oh, that does belong there. That's okay. Um, so going back to the actions we can take, we can exclude and say, no, that category is definitely never going to be in my store. We can also force the products down a level. So force it to a child or a leaf node. We can roll it up to parent. I showed you how that worked already. You can also migrate to a sibling. So a sibling is the same child, two childs under the same parent. So you could say, hey, everything is classified in this type of thing, candy, make it chocolate instead. And then we can migrate to another category anywhere in the taxonomy. We can keep the category, or we can mark it to take action. So you have all these different options that you're defining for what you're going to do with your taxonomy of all the categories and the tree structure behind them. Some of them take action right now. Others of them flag you to take action in the future, and then we give you tools to follow up on those inside of the Datify app. So that's the beginning understanding, hopefully, for you of how you can manage your categories with our category manager configuration inside of the Datify app. Thanks for listening.